Why do I feel like a stranger in my own mind at night? What part of me writes these scripts, these bizarre movies that play out behind my eyes? Am I seeing a truth about myself or just a messy replay of the day's anxieties? Why does a dream about losing my teeth feel so terrifyingly real long after I've woken up and checked that they're all still there? What is my mind trying to tell me? Number 20, who was Carl Jung really? Or Carl Gustav Jung's grandfather and great-grandfather were both physicians. For 16 years, from 1914 to 1930, Jung worked on a secret book filled with his own dreams and visions, which he called the Red Book. He only showed it to a handful of close friends during his lifetime. In 1944, after a heart attack, he had a near-death experience where he felt he was floating in space, seeing the Earth from a great distance. He said this experience changed his entire perspective on life and death. So who was this man? He was a Swiss psychiatrist. He lived from 1875 to 1961, but that doesn't tell you much. He was a thinker who looked inward. He looked at his own mind. He looked at the minds of his patients, and he saw patterns. He saw the same stories, the same characters appearing over and over. They appeared in dreams. They appeared in myths from all over the world. They appeared in ancient art and in modern anxieties. He didn't think this was a coincidence. He started his career working with Sigmund Freud. They were close for a time. They saw the unconscious mind as a powerful force, but they had a major disagreement. Freud thought our unconscious was mostly personal. It was filled with our own repressed memories and desires, mostly from childhood. Jung thought that was only part of the story. He believed there was a deeper layer. A layer we are all born with. He called it the collective unconscious. This idea was central to his work. It's the foundation for understanding dreams his way. He wasn't just interested in what you did yesterday. He was interested in the ancient human story playing out inside you. He saw the human mind, the psyche, as something that was always trying to become whole. It was a process. He called it individuation. It was the journey of becoming fully yourself. Your dreams, for him, were not just random noise from the brain. They were messages, they were guidance from this deeper part of you. They were showing you where you were out of balance. They were pointing the way toward wholeness. He didn't see himself as a guru. He saw himself as an explorer. He was mapping the inner world. And he left us as maps. Using his ideas to look at your dreams is like using one of those old hand-drawn maps to explore a hidden country. The country is you. Number 19, why do we even dream? The average person spends about 6 full years of their life dreaming. That's around 2,190 days. Even people who are born blind dream. Their dreams are built from their other senses like sound, smell, and touch. The part of your brain most active during dreaming, the limbic system, deals with emotions. This is why dreams can feel so intensely real and emotional, even if the plot makes no sense. Science has a few ideas about why we dream. One idea is that dreams are for memory consolidation. Your brain spends the night sorting through the day's information. It decides what to keep and what to throw away. Dreams are like the behind-the-scenes footage of this process. Another idea is threat simulation. The dreams let us practice our fight-or-flight responses in a safe environment. You dream of being chased, and your brain gets to run a drill without any real danger. It's a survival mechanism, but Jung had a different perspective. He agreed that dreams process our daily lives. He called this material the day's residue. You see the face of a person you passed on the street. You hear a line from a song that was on the radio. This is the personal layer of the dream. But he believed dreams did much more than just sort and file. He thought dreams were a form of communication. They were a bridge between your conscious mind, the part of you that's reading this now, and your vast unconscious mind. The language of the unconscious is not words, it's symbols, it's images, it's stories. A dream is a letter written in this symbolic language. It's telling you something about yourself that your conscious mind has missed or ignored. It's a compensatory function. That sounds complicated, but it's simple. Dreams restore our balance. If you are too rigid and controlled in your waking life, your dreams might be chaotic and wild. If you are ignoring your feelings, your dreams might be flooded with emotion. The dream is showing you the other side of the coin. It's not trying to trick you, it's trying to help you. It's trying to make you more complete. So while science looks at the how of dreaming, the brain mechanics, Jung was focused on the why. He asked, what is the meaning? What is this dream trying to tell me about my life's journey? Number 18, what is the collective unconscious? The term archetype was not invented by Jung. It has roots in ancient Greek philosophy with figures like Plato. Jung first used the term collective unconsciouses in a 1916 essay. He often compared it to the instincts of animals. A bird doesn't need to be taught how to build a nest. The knowledge is innate. Jung believed humans have similar innate psychological patterns. What is this collective unconscious? It's probably Jung's biggest and most misunderstood idea. Let's try to make it simple. Think of your own mind. You have your conscious mind. This is your awareness right now. Your thoughts, your feelings, your memories that you can easily access. Then you have the personal unconscious. This is Freud's territory. It contains your forgotten experiences, your personal hang-ups, things that have happened just to you. But Jung said there's a third, much deeper layer, the collective unconscious. This layer doesn't belong to you personally. It belongs to humanity. It's the inherited psychological foundation of the human species. It's a set of shared memories and ideas that every human is born with, regardless of their culture or personal history. It's like the operating system for the human mind. We all come pre-installed with it. This shared psychic reservoir is filled with archetypes. These are the basic patterns, the universal themes that show up in our stories and myths. The hero, the mother, the trickster, the wise old man. These characters aren't from your personal life. They are from this collective human memory bank. When you dream of a terrifying monster, you're not just dreaming about your mean boss. You might be tapping into a universal human fear of the unknown, the same fear that led our ancestors to tell stories about dragons and demons. This is why myths and fairy tales from completely different parts of the world can have such similar plots and characters. They are all drawing from the same, the collective unconscious. Your dreams do the same. They use these universal archetypal images to tell you a story about your personal life. Understanding this idea is key. It means your dream is not just about you. It's about you as a human being dealing with timeless human problems. It connects your small personal story to the great epic story of humanity. Number 17. How is a personal dream different from a big dream? Surveys show that about 70% of the characters in men's dreams are other men, while women's dreams contain a more equal number of male and female characters. The most common emotion experienced in dreams is anxiety. In 1953, a researcher named Eugene Aserinsky discovered REM, rapid eye movement sleep, the stage where most vivid dreaming occurs, by watching his sleeping son. Jung made a distinction between different kinds of dreams. He saw that not all dreams carried the same weight. Some were simple, some were profound. He sorted them into two main categories: personal dreams and big dreams. A personal dream deals mostly with the stuff of your life. It's working through the day's events. It's a reaction to a specific problem you're facing at work. It uses images from your personal unconscious. You might dream of your childhood home, your current partner, or your boss. The dream is speaking about your personal situation, your private struggles. It's like a memo from one part of your mind to another. It might be pointing out an attitude you have that's unhelpful, or it might be trying to solve a problem you've been stuck on. These dreams are important. They are the bread and butter of dream work. They help with the day-to-day management of your psyche. But then there are the big dreams. These are different. They feel different when you wake up. They are vivid, powerful, and you remember them for years, sometimes for your whole life. They don't feel like they're just about you. They feel sacred or mythical. These dreams come from a deeper place. They come from the collective unconscious. In a big dream, the imagery is not personal. It's archetypal. You don't just dream of a nice old lady from down the street. You dream of a glowing goddess figure. You don't just dream of a snake in the garden. You dream of a colossal serpent that speaks to you. The dream is filled with mythological or religious symbolism. It feels ancient. These dreams often come at major turning points in a person's life. During adolescence, a midlife crisis, a serious illness, or a spiritual awakening. They are not just memos. They are announcements. They are marking a major shift in your psychological development. They are connecting you to something larger than your own ego. A big dream is a rare and powerful event. It's a direct message from the ancient collective core of your humanity. Number 16. What is an archetype exactly? The word archetype comes from two Greek words archein, which means original or old, and typos, which means pattern, model, or type. So, it means an original pattern. Jung believed there are as many archetypes as there are common human experiences. He identified some major ones, but the list is potentially endless. The archetype itself is an empty form. It's the personal and cultural experiences that fill it with specific content. Let's break down what an archetype is. It's a tricky concept. An archetype is not an image. It's not a character, it's the pattern behind the image or character. It's a predisposition to create certain types of images. Think of it like a dry riverbed. The riverbed is the archetype, it's the preformed channel. The water that flows through it is your personal experience. The water might be clear or muddy, a trickle or a flood, but it will always follow the shape of the riverbed. So, the mother archetype is not your actual mother. It's the innate human pattern of mothering. It's the potential for nurturing, caring, and creating life. It's also the potential for smothering, devouring, and destroying. This pattern gets expressed through images. In your dream, it might be your actual mom. Or it might be Mother Nature, the ocean, a cave, or a witch. All these different images are expressions of the same underlying pattern, the mother archetype. These archetypes live in the collective unconscious. They are the characters in the great human drama. When one appears in your dream, it's a sign that you are dealing with a universal human theme. If the hero archetype shows up, you are likely on some kind of quest, facing a challenge that requires courage. If the trickster appears, you are probably dealing with chaos, disruption, and the challenging of rules. The point of identifying an archetype in your dream is not to just label it and move on. Oh, that was the wise old man. The point is to understand what that universal pattern means for you right now. What part of your life is calling for wisdom? What part of you needs to develop that quality? The archetype is a signal. It's a powerful energy pattern that has been activated in your psyche. Your dream is showing you this energy. Your job is to understand it and relate to it in a conscious way. Number 15. What does the self want from me? The symbol of the self is often a circle, a square, or a combination of the two, known as a mandala. Jung began spontaneously drawing mandalas every day in 1916 and realized they reflected his inner state at the time. He saw the self as the psychic equivalent of God, but he was careful to state this was a psychological, not a religious concept. The self is not something you achieve once and for all. Relating to it is a lifelong process. The self is the most important archetype in Jung's system. It is the central archetype, the archetype of wholeness and order. If your conscious mind, your ego, is the captain of the ship, the self is the hidden navigator and the destination all at once. It is the complete picture of you. It includes your conscious mind, your personal unconscious, and your connection to the collective unconscious. It is the totality of your psyche. Most of us don't live from this place of wholeness. We live from our ego. The ego is the part of us that says I. It's our center of consciousness. It's necessary. It helps us navigate the world, but it's only a small island in the vast ocean of the psyche. The ego often thinks it's the whole show. It wants control. It likes to think it knows best. The goal of what Jung called individuation is to shift the center of your personality from the ego to the self. This doesn't mean destroying the ego. It means putting the ego in its proper place. The ego becomes the servant of the self, not the master. It's about creating a living relationship, a constant dialogue between your conscious I and the greater totality of who you are. So, what does the self want from you? It wants you to be whole. It wants you to embrace all parts of yourself, the light and the dark. It wants you to grow and develop into the unique individual you were meant to be. In dreams, the self often appears at times of great transformation. It shows up when you need guidance from a source wiser than your own ego. It can appear as a divine figure, a king or queen, a precious gem, a child, or a mandala. These images convey a sense of unity, totality, and centeredness. When you see such an image in a dream, it's a profound message. The dream is showing you the potential for wholeness that exists within you. It's offering a glimpse of your true center. Number 14. Who is this stranger in my mirror? The persona. The word persona is Latin for an actor's mask. In ancient Roman theater, actors would wear masks to signify which character they were playing. Studies in social psychology show that people's behavior and even their self-reported personalities can change significantly depending on their social role, a phenomenon known as the chameleon effect. Jung believed that over-identifying with the persona is a common source of psychological trouble in the second half of life. The persona is your social mask. It's the version of yourself that you present to the world. You have a persona for work, you have one for your family, you have one for your friends. It's the collection of roles you play: the good employee, the responsible parent, the funny friend. The persona is not necessarily a bad thing. It's a vital tool for social interaction. It helps us fit in. It protects our more vulnerable, private self from public scrutiny. It's like the clothes we wear, we need them to function in society. The problem comes when we forget that we are wearing a mask. When we start to believe that the persona is all we are. This is called identification with the persona. Someone might be so invested in their role as the successful doctor that they lose touch with all other parts of themselves. They forget their hobbies, their feelings, their doubts. Their identity is completely wrapped up in this one social role. Dreams will often try to correct this imbalance. If you are too identified with your persona, you might have dreams about being naked in public. This dream isn't just about embarrassment. It's your psyche telling you that your true self is being exposed, or that you need to take off the mask and be more authentic. You might dream that your work clothes are falling apart, or that you are on a stage and have forgotten your lines. These are all signals from the unconscious. They are saying that your persona is fragile, that it's not the real you, and that you need to connect with the parts of yourself that lie behind the mask. When you work with your dreams, pay attention to how you appear. Are you in a uniform? Are you playing a role? Are you wearing a costume? These images can tell you a lot about your relationship with your persona. The dream might be asking you, who are you when you take off the mask? Number 13, what hides in my shadow? The concept of the shadow self has existed for centuries in folklore, such as the stories of doppelgangers or evil twins. Robert Louis Stevenson's 1886 novel Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is a classic literary exploration of the shadow. Psychologically, the phenomenon of projection, where we attribute our own unwanted traits to others, is a primary way the shadow operates in daily life. The shadow is one of Jung's most famous and useful concepts. It is the dark side of our personality. It's the part of us that we want to hide. It's the repository for everything we have rejected about ourselves. It's the things we are ashamed of, the things we don't want to admit to. It contains our greed, our selfishness, our anger, our primitive instincts. But that's not the whole story. The shadow is not just a bag of negative traits. It also contains positive qualities that we have repressed. Perhaps you were taught as a child that being assertive was bossy. So you repressed your assertiveness, and it now lives in your shadow. Maybe you were told that your artistic talent was a waste of time. So your creativity went into the shadow. This is called the golden shadow. It contains all the undeveloped positive potential that you have disowned. In dreams, the shadow often appears as a dark, threatening figure of the same sex as the dreamer. It might be a criminal, a bum, a rival, or a monster. It's someone you feel an immediate dislike or fear for. The natural reaction is to run away from this figure. But in Jungian dream work, the goal is the opposite. You must turn and face the shadow. You must ask it what it wants. This is what Jung called integrating the shadow. It doesn't mean becoming a bad person. It means becoming a whole person. It means acknowledging that you have these qualities within you. It means withdrawing your projections from other people. When you get irrationally angry at someone, you are often seeing your own shadow in them. By consciously recognizing your own dark side, you take away its power to control you from the unconscious. And by reclaiming the gold from your shadow, you become a more vibrant, authentic, and powerful individual. The shadow figure in your dream is not your enemy. It is a part of you that wants to be seen and accepted. Number 12. How do I meet my anima or animus? The terms anima and animus are Latin for soul and spirit, respectively. Jung developed these concepts after his split with Freud as a way to understand the contrasexual elements of the psyche. He believed that the development of one's relationship with the anima or animus typically occurs in 4 distinct stages, from a primitive, instinctual figure to a figure of spiritual wisdom. Inside every man, Jung said, there is an inner feminine. He called this the anima. Inside every woman, there is an inner masculine. He called this the animus. This is not about sexuality. It's about psychological qualities. The anima represents the feminine principles of relationship, emotion, intuition, and creativity. The animus represents the masculine principles of logic, reason, action, and structure. These figures are shaped at first by our experiences with our parents. A man's anima is colored by his relationship with his mother. A woman's animus is colored by her relationship with her father, but they are also archetypal. They connect us to the collective, universal experience of the opposite gender. They are the bridge to the deeper layers of the unconscious. In dreams, the anima or animus appears as a figure of the opposite sex. For a man, the anima might be a mysterious and alluring woman, a goddess, a witch, or a damsel in distress. For a woman, the animus might be a powerful hero, a wise judge, a group of men, or a threatening outlaw. These figures often carry a strong emotional charge. We are fascinated by them or terrified of them. This is because they represent a part of our own soul that we have not yet integrated. The state of your anima or animus in a dream tells you about your relationship to these inner qualities. If a man dreams of a sick or angry anima figure, it might suggest he is out of touch with his feelings or his creative side. If a woman dreams of a critical, judgmental animus, it could mean her inner masculine is dominated by rigid, negative opinions rather than clear, conscious thought. The goal is to develop a conscious relationship with this inner figure, to listen to it, to learn from it. For a man, integrating the anima means becoming more connected to his feelings and creativity. For a woman, integrating the animus means developing her capacity for clear thought and effective action in the world. When this relationship is healthy, the anima or animus becomes a helpful guide, a source of inspiration, and a link to the wisdom of the self. Number 11. Why do I dream of a wise old man or woman? This archetype has been with us for millennia, appearing as figures like Merlin in Arthurian legend, Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings, or the Oracle at Delphi in ancient Greece. The wise old man or woman embodies the archetype of mana or spiritual power. This archetype often appears in dreams when the dreamer is facing a situation where their conscious knowledge and logic are insufficient. This archetype is a personification of wisdom, meaning, and spiritual guidance. It's often called the Senexes for the man or the Sophia for the woman. It represents the accumulated wisdom of the collective unconscious. This is not just intellectual knowledge. It is deep, intuitive understanding. It is insight. In a dream, this figure appears when you are stuck. You've reached the limit of what your ego can figure out on its own. You need help from a wiser source. The wise old man or woman might appear as a teacher, a priest, a guru, a wizard, or just a simple, elderly person who says something profound. They often offer a cryptic piece of advice, a magical tool, or a map. They don't solve the problem for you. They give you what you need to solve it for yourself. This archetype represents your own highest potential for wisdom. It is a part of you. The dream is showing you that you have access to this inner source of guidance. When you dream of such a figure, it's a very positive sign. It means that your psyche is trying to help you connect with a deeper level of understanding. However, like all archetypes, this one has a shadow side. The shadow of the wise old man can be a dogmatic, rigid old fool who spouts meaningless platitudes. The shadow of the wise old woman can be a manipulative crone who leads you astray. So it's important to look at the context of the dream. Does the figure's advice feel life-giving and helpful? Or does it feel restrictive and deadening? Engaging with this archetype means learning to trust your own intuition. It means looking for meaning beyond the surface of things. The dream is inviting you to access the part of yourself that already knows the answer. Number 10. What does the Great Mother represent? The oldest known representation of a human figure is the Venus of Holfels, a small ivory carving of a female form that is at least 35,000 years old. This suggests the feminine principle has been a central part of human consciousness for a very long time. The Great Mother archetype is dualistic. She is both the loving, nurturing mother and the terrifying, devouring mother, like the figures of the Virgin Mary and the Hindu goddess Kali. The Great Mother is a fundamental archetype. It represents the source of all life. It is nature, the earth, the unconscious, the womb, from which everything is born. It is the raw, instinctual, and creative force of the universe. In dreams, this archetype can appear in many forms. It can be a personal figure like your own mother or grandmother, or it can be an impersonal force like the ocean, a forest, a cave, a garden, or the earth itself. This archetype has two sides, the good mother and the terrible mother. The good mother is all about nurturing, fertility, and unconditional love. Dreaming of a lush garden, a calm sea, or a warm, safe enclosure can be an experience of this positive aspect. It suggests a time of growth, creativity, and feeling supported by life. It's a connection to your own ability to create and nurture, whether you are male or female. The terrible mother is the opposite. She is devouring, smothering, and destructive. She is the force that pulls you back into unconsciousness that resists change and growth. In dreams, she might appear as a witch, a monster from the deep, or a natural disaster like an earthquake or a flood. Dreaming of being trapped, drowned, or eaten can be an encounter with this negative side. It might point to a situation in your life where you feel suffocated or a part of yourself that is holding you back in a state of dependency. When the Great Mother archetype appears in your dream, it is asking you to look at your relationship with your own creative and instinctual nature. Are you connected to it in a healthy way, or are you being overwhelmed and consumed by it? It's a powerful force, and the dream is showing you how that force is operating in your life right now. Number 9. Who is the hero in my dream story? The concept of the monomyth, or the hero's journey, was popularized by Joseph Campbell in his 1949 book The Hero, with 1,000 Faces. Campbell was heavily influenced by Jung's work. The hero's journey is a pattern found in countless stories worldwide, from the ancient epic of Gilgamesh to modern movies like Star Wars. The central task of the hero is typically to overcome the dragon, which Jung interpreted as the struggle with the devouring mother archetype and the unconscious. The hero is the archetype of the ego. It is the part of us that seeks to grow, to overcome challenges, and to forge our own identity. The hero's story is the story of consciousness developing. It's about separating from the unconscious, the mother, facing the darkness, the dragon, or the shadow, and achieving a new level of self-awareness. If you dream that you are the hero of the story, fighting a monster, going on a quest, or saving someone, it's a sign that your psyche is engaged in this process of individuation. You are actively working on a challenge in your life. The dream is an encouragement. It's affirming your strength and your courage. The details of the dream quest will show you what the specific challenge is. What monster are you fighting? What treasure are you seeking? The answers to these questions point to the specific psychological task you are facing. Sometimes you are not the hero in the dream. You might be watching another character play the hero's part. This can mean that you need to develop the heroic qualities that this figure represents. The dream is showing you a model of what is needed. The hero archetype also has a shadow side. The shadow hero is inflated. They are arrogant. They think they can conquer everything. This can lead to a downfall. A dream might show this by having the hero fail spectacularly or become a tyrant after their victory. This would be a warning dream, a caution against ego inflation. It's a reminder that the true goal of the hero's journey is not just to gain power, but to serve something larger than the ego, to connect with the wisdom of the self. The hero's journey is not about becoming superhuman, it's about becoming fully human. Number 8. Why is the trickster causing chaos? The trickster archetype is found in the mythologies of many cultures. Examples include Coyote in Native American stories, Loki in Norse mythology, and Hermes in the Greek pantheon. The trickster is an ambiguous figure. They are often a creator and a destroyer at the same time. The famous psychological cognitive dissonance theory, proposed in the 1950s, explores the mental stress we feel when holding two contradictory beliefs, a state the trickster often deliberately provokes. The trickster is the archetype of disruption, chaos, and paradox. It is the rule breaker. It is the jester who speaks truth to the king. When everything in your life seems to be settled, rigid, and too serious, the trickster shows up to shake things up. It introduces accident and coincidence. It pokes holes in our most cherished beliefs and exposes the absurdity of our conventions. In a dream, the trickster can be a mischievous animal, a clown, a prankster, or a figure who is constantly changing shape. They might play a practical joke on you, lead you on a wild goose chase, or point out something that is both hilarious and deeply uncomfortable. The energy of a trickster dream is often confusing but also liberating. The appearance of the trickster is a sign that your conscious attitude has become too one-sided or inflated. You've become too stuck in your ways. Your ego has become too rigid. The trickster arrives to bring balance by introducing the opposite point of view. It brings humility through humiliation. It brings new possibilities by destroying the old certainties. The trickster is not evil. It is amoral. It operates outside the normal rules of good and bad. Its function is to jolt us out of our complacency. If you are trying to be perfect, the trickster will make you spill coffee on your shirt right before a big meeting. If you are convinced of your own intellectual superiority, the trickster will make you forget a simple word. It's a humbling force. When the trickster appears in your dream, don't dismiss it as just a silly or meaningless dream. It is a powerful agent of change. The dream is telling you to lighten up, to question your assumptions, and to be open to new, unexpected possibilities. It is a signal that a rigid structure in your life needs to be broken down so that something new can emerge. Number 7. What do animals in dreams mean? Humans have been depicting animals in art for over 40,000 years, as seen in the cave paintings of Indonesia. In many ancient cultures, specific animals were associated with specific gods or qualities, the owl with Athena, goddess of wisdom, for example. The study of animal behavior, or ethology, has shown that many animals possess complex social structures and emotional lives, challenging the idea of them as simple, instinct-driven beings. Animals in dreams are powerful symbols. They often represent the instinctual, non-rational parts of ourselves. They connect us to our own primal nature, the part of us that is pre-verbal and pre-human. The kind of animal that appears in your dream is very important. Each animal carries a wealth of symbolic meaning, built up over millennia of human experience. A dog, for example, often represents loyalty, companionship, and instinctual guidance. A dream of a friendly dog might suggest you are in good relationship with your own instincts. An angry, attacking dog could point to a conflict with your instincts, or a bitchy attitude in yourself or someone else. A cat is often associated with independence, femininity, and intuition. It can represent a hidden, mysterious part of the psyche. A horse can symbolize powerful, vital energy. The state of the horse in the dream is key. Is it wild and untamed, or is it harnessed and working for you? This can tell you about how you are managing your own life force, your libido, in the Jungian sense. A snake is a very complex symbol. Because it sheds its skin, it often represents transformation and renewal. It is also a creature of the earth, connected to primal, instinctual, and sometimes dangerous energy. It can also be a symbol of healing, as in the rod of Asclepius used in medicine. When you dream of an animal, don't just look up its meaning in a dream dictionary. The dictionary can give you a starting point, some common associations, but you must make it personal. What is your relationship with this animal? Are you afraid of spiders in real life? Then a spider in a dream will have a different meaning for you than for someone who keeps them as pets. Think about the animal's nature. What are its key characteristics? Is it a predator? A herd animal? Does it fly? Does it live underground? These qualities point to the nature of the psychic energy it represents in your dream. The animal is a piece of your own soul, speaking to you in its own language. Number 6. What about places? The house, the water, the forest. The concept of place attachment, the emotional bond between a person and a place, is a recognized field in environmental psychology. Studies have shown that access to natural environments, like forests, can reduce stress and improve mental well-being. The architect Gaston Bachelard, in his 1958 book The Poetics of Space, explored the house as a powerful metaphor for the human soul, an idea that resonates strongly with Jungian dream interpretation. The setting of a dream is not just a backdrop, it is a symbol in itself. The place where the dream happens tells you about the area of your psyche that the dream is exploring. The house is one of the most common and important dream settings. A house in a dream almost always represents the dreamer's self, their psyche. Each room can correspond to a different aspect of your personality. The attic might be your higher thoughts, your intellect, or your spiritual aspirations. The basement or cellar often represents the unconscious, the place where things are stored away, forgotten, or repressed. Pay attention to the condition of the house. Is it sturdy or falling apart? Are there new rooms you've never seen before? This could suggest new potentials opening up in your life. Is there a stranger in the house? This could be an unknown part of yourself making its presence felt. Water is another powerful symbol. It typically represents the unconscious mind and the world of feelings. The state of the water is crucial. Is it a calm, clear lake? This might suggest like emotional clarity and peace. Is it a raging, muddy flood? This could point to being overwhelmed by powerful, unconscious emotions. Are you swimming comfortably in it, or are you drowning? This shows your relationship with your own emotional life. A forest often symbolizes a journey into the unknown parts of yourself. It can be a place of testing and initiation. Getting lost in a forest in a dream can mean that you feel lost in your waking life, that you've lost your way. But a forest can also be a place of sanctuary and natural wisdom. Meeting a helpful animal or a wise figure in the forest is a very positive sign. Other places have common meanings too. A city or town can represent your social life and community connections. A school or university can relate to a situation where you are learning something new. A mountain might symbolize a challenge you have to overcome. When you analyze your dream, always ask, where am I? And what does this place represent in my inner world? Number 5, how do I actually start a dream journal? The Roman physician Galen, in the 2nd century AD, kept a detailed dream journal to diagnose both his own and his patients' ailments. Research from the 1970s by sleep scientist Deirdre Barrett showed that people who told themselves they wanted to remember their dreams right before sleep significantly increased their dream recall. The simple act of writing things down has been proven to improve memory and clarity of thought. This is the most practical and most important step. If you want to understand your dreams, you have to remember them. And the best way to remember them is to write them down. The process is simple, but it requires consistency. First, get a notebook and a pen. Keep them right by your bed, within arm's reach. A phone or computer can work, but the physical act of writing often creates a stronger connection. The light from a screen can also fully wake you up, making the dream fade faster. Second, set an intention. Before you go to sleep, tell yourself, I'm going to remember my dreams tonight. This simple instruction to your unconscious mind can make a big difference. Don't stress about it. Just gently state the intention. Third, when you wake up, don't move. Don't jump out of bed. Lie still for a few moments. The dream is like a soap bubble. If you move too quickly, it will pop. Let the feelings and images from the dream come back to you. They are often held in your body. How did the dream make you feel? Scared, happy, confused? The feeling is the anchor. Fourth, write it down immediately. Write down whatever you remember, even if it's just a fragment. A single image, a feeling, a weird word. Don't worry about grammar or making it a perfect story. Just get the raw material down on the page. Write in the present tense, as if it's happening now. I am walking down a long hallway. The walls are red. This helps to recapture the immediacy of the experience. Give the dream a title, something that captures its essence, and write down the date. Over time, you will start to see patterns. You might notice you have similar dreams at certain times of the month, or when you are dealing with a specific stressor at work. Don't worry if you don't remember anything at first. Be patient. Just the act of keeping the journal by your bed signals to your unconscious that you are ready to listen. The dreams will come. The journal is your workbook. It's the raw data of your inner world. Without it, you are just relying on a fading memory. Number 4, what is active imagination? Jung developed the technique of active imagination between 1913 and 1916, during a period of intense self-exploration following his break with Freud. This period, which he called his confrontation with the unconscious, is documented in his Red Book. Unlike simple daydreaming or fantasy, active imagination requires a conscious, ethical engagement with the figures from the unconscious. It is a dialogue, not a monologue. Active imagination is a powerful technique for working with dream images. It's a way to continue the dream while you are awake. It's a direct dialogue with the figures from your unconscious. It's more intense than just thinking about the dream. It's an active engagement. Here is how you can try it. It's best to do this in a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. You can write it down in your journal, or just do it in your mind's eye. First, choose an image or a figure from a dream. Pick something that has energy for you, something you feel curious or emotional about. It could be a person, an animal, or even an object. Second, close your eyes and bring the image to mind. See it as clearly as you can. Third, let the image come to life. Let it move or do something on its own. Don't try to control it. This is the key. You are not writing a story. You are observing what the unconscious presents. You are a participant, not the director. Fourth, once the figure is active, you engage with it. You can ask it a question. Who are you? What do you want from me? Why were you in my dream? Then you wait for an answer. The answer might come in words, or it might be another image, or a feeling. Your job is to receive it without judgment. You are having a conversation with a part of yourself. You must be respectful. You must be honest. Don't try to force the figure to say what you want to hear. Treat it as a real, autonomous being. This is the ethical component Jung insisted on. You are building a relationship. This process can be very revealing. The shadow figure you were terrified of in the dream might have a valuable message for you. The wise old woman might give you a new perspective on a problem. Active imagination is a way of bridging the gap between the conscious and the unconscious. It takes the passive experience of dreaming and turns it into an active, conscious process of discovery. It takes courage, but it is one of the most direct ways to communicate with the deepest parts of your psyche. Number 3, how do I connect the dream to my waking life? The phenomenon of confirmation biases means we tend to favor information that confirms our existing beliefs. When interpreting a dream, it is crucial to be aware of this bias and to consider interpretations that might challenge your conscious point of view. Jung often said a dream that is not understood is like a letter that is not opened. The final step of interpretation is always to see how the dream's message applies to your current life situation. You've written down the dream, you've thought about the symbols and the archetypes. Now comes the most important part, building a bridge. How does this strange story from the night connect to your real life during the day? A dream interpretation is useless if it stays abstract. It has to connect to your life right now. The first step is amplification. This is a Jungian term. It means you gather more information about the symbols in the dream. But you don't just use a dictionary, you use your own personal associations first. Let's say you dreamed of an oak tree. What does an oak tree mean to you? Does it remind you of the one in your childhood backyard? Does it make you think of strength in old age? Start with your personal feelings and memories. Then you can look at collective or cultural associations. What do oak trees represent in mythology or folklore? They are often associated with wisdom, endurance, and sacredness. You are building up a rich web of meaning around the dream image. The second step is to connect the dream's theme to your current life context. Look at what was happening in your life on the day before the dream. What were you thinking about? What were you struggling with? The dream is almost always a commentary on your present situation. If you dreamed of being unprepared for an exam, ask yourself, where in my life do I feel unprepared or tested right now? It probably has nothing to do with school. It might be about a new project at work, a difficult conversation you need to have, or a health issue. The dream speaks in metaphors. Your job is to translate the metaphor. I am in a house with a crumbling foundation. Translation: the foundation of my belief system, or my marriage, or my career feels unstable. The dream is often showing you the side of the story that your conscious mind is ignoring. If you consciously think everything is fine in your relationship, a dream might show you a major conflict. It's presenting the other side to bring balance. Always ask, what is the dream telling me that I don't already know? What attitude is it trying to correct? This is how you make the dream a practical guide for your life. Number 2, what are common mistakes people make? Sigmund Freud, in his 1900 book, The Interpretation of Dreams, proposed that dreams were primarily about wish fulfillment, often of a repressed sexual nature. Jung disagreed, seeing dreams as having a much broader purpose. A common cognitive error known as the fundamental attribution error leads us to overemphasize personality-based explanations for behaviors in others while overemphasizing situational explanations for our own. A similar error in dream work is to assume every figure is either purely a part of ourselves or purely someone else. Interpreting dreams is a skill. It takes practice, and it's easy to make mistakes, especially at the beginning. Here are some common pitfalls to avoid. One big mistake is being too literal. If you dream your teeth are falling out, it is extremely unlikely that your psyche is giving you a dental warning. You have a dentist for that. Dreams speak in symbols. A dream about teeth falling out is more likely about anxiety, a loss of power or control, or concerns about your appearance. You have to look for the metaphorical meaning, not the literal one. Another mistake is relying too heavily on dream dictionaries. A dictionary can give you some general ideas, but your personal associations are always more important. A snake might be a symbol of healing for one person and a symbol of betrayal for another. The meaning is not fixed. The dream is your dream. It's using a language tailored to you. A third mistake is to think that every single detail in a dream is hugely significant. Some parts of a dream are just day's residue. The brain is using familiar material to build the story. The key is to focus on the parts of the dream that have emotional energy. What part of the dream surprised you? What part scared you? What part felt strange or powerful? That's where the meaning is most likely to be found. Perhaps the biggest mistake is ego. The ego likes to be right. It will try to twist the dream's meaning to fit what it already believes. For example, if your ego thinks you are a very generous person and you have a dream where you are acting incredibly selfishly, your ego will try to explain it away. Oh, that person in the dream wasn't me, it was my selfish cousin. A Jungian approach would be to consider that the selfish figure is a part of you, your shadow, and the dream is asking you to look at it. A good dream interpretation often feels a little uncomfortable. It should challenge your conscious view of yourself. Finally, don't think you have to find the one true meaning of a dream. A dream is like a great piece of art. It can have multiple layers of meaning. It can speak to you in different ways at different times in your life. The goal is not to solve it like a puzzle, but to have a relationship with it. Number 1, what if I can't figure it out? Carl Jung himself admitted that he did not understand every aspect of his own dreams. He approached them with a sense of humility. The Zen Buddhist concept of Shoshin, or beginner's mind, is relevant here. It refers to having an attitude of openness, eagerness, and lack of preconceptions when studying a subject, even when studying at an advanced level. This attitude is essential for dream work. So you've kept a journal, you've looked at the symbols, you've tried to connect it to your life, and you still have no idea what the dream means. It just feels like a bizarre, random collection of images. What now? First, that's okay. It's more than okay, it's normal. Not every dream will yield its secrets easily. Some dreams are like time-release capsules. Their meaning only becomes clear weeks, months, or even years later. You might have a dream tonight that you won't understand until you're facing a particular challenge 5 years from now. Then, you'll suddenly remember it, and it will all make perfect sense. So the first step is to be patient. Don't force an interpretation. A wrong interpretation is worse than no interpretation at all. If you force the dream to mean something that fits your ego's desires, you've missed the point. You've silenced the message from the unconscious. Just hold the dream, live with it. Keep it in the back of your mind. You can revisit it in your journal from time to time. Sometimes sharing the dream with a trusted friend can help. They might see a connection that you missed simply because they are outside of your conscious perspective. But be careful who you share your dreams with. They are a vulnerable part of you. Sometimes the value of a dream is not in a neat intellectual interpretation. Sometimes the value is in the experience of the dream itself. A dream might fill you with a profound sense of peace, or wonder, or terror. The feeling itself is the message. The dream is giving you an experience. Your conscious life is lacking. Your job might not be to understand it, but simply to feel it and carry that feeling with you into your day. The process of paying attention to your dreams is what matters most. The act of honoring them, of writing them down, of wondering about them, is what builds the bridge between your conscious and unconscious minds. It's a lifelong conversation, and in any good conversation, there are times when you just listen without fully understanding. You trust that the relationship itself is what will lead to growth and wholeness. The dream is a mystery. Your role is not to be a detective who solves it, but a student who is willing to learn from it.